All right, we are live. Welcome everybody back to the Game Junction podcast. We are welcoming back our sponsor this week, timelessgamer.net. Timelessgamer.net exists to inform and enlighten video game enthusiasts of all kinds. One of our favorite articles from this week is The Game That Changed It All, Super Mario Bros., discussing the major impact the NES title had on the video game industry and consumers as a whole. You can check out their website for more articles like this. We appreciate it. Here we go. We're starting the podcast.
Everyone, another Game Junction podcast, and this week we have a very special podcast. This is our 30th podcast, guys, and I can't believe it. This is insane. So over to not sure which way, we have Brandon, and then this week we have a special guest. So we have our buddy Marcus, Video Game Votary. So let's just go ahead and introduce him. Tell us a little bit about you.
Hey, my name is Video Game Votary. Also call myself the Nintendo World Champion. You see the belt. Content creator over on YouTube. And, I love collecting video games.
Heck
Pretty
yeah.
simple. Pretty simple.
That's perfect. We have a champion in the house tonight.
Definitely.
World Wrestling Champion of the world.
And everyone's doing well tonight, I would assume.
Yes, ma'am.
Doing good.
Well,
all right.
Well.
So we'll just go ahead and jump into it a little bit for some of our viewers. I'll go ahead and manage some of the chat as well. So let's just learn a little bit about you for the viewers. What is it specifically that you do, like in the gaming world? I know that you have a YouTube channel, so if you just want to talk a little bit about, that aspect of what you do and where people can find you at.
Okay. Yeah, so I have a YouTube channel, started up about 4 years ago. So I do convention coverage, pickups videos, just out video game hunting, reviews, product reviews, game reviews as well. And I upload every week. I've been doing shorts every day. So
Awesome.
if you subscribe to the channel, which I hope you do, you will get some content every day, even if it's a little bit of content, so I try to stay with my schedule, and I love collecting.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I mean, we same thing we love. We're all about.
And that's that's kind of what makes it, this whole entire YouTube world and this content creation world, there's just like this huge community of everyone. So that's something that I just love about this. You can meet so many different, people, and there's just so many cool people out there who do the same things that we do and enjoy the same things. And, we're all pretty much the same because we can come together with our experiences and our memories about these games. So that's something that I just really enjoy. And, I'm glad that we have another content creator who kind of understands, a little bit about what we were talking about earlier. But, just for everyone watching, how long have you been creating this content, and kind of like what pushed you into this, YouTube, this content creation, kind of putting yourself out there, like we explained earlier, like this whole, you're in the public and everyone knows,
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So it's been close to 4 years now that I've been creating and really full-time collecting, to be honest with you. I kind of put off collecting until I bought my house. And, I always tell the story. I got started collecting because I was, on Facebook, and I see this random post, and it's like the cube storage um stand thing or whatever, the cubes that everybody kind of has in their game room.
Yep.
And somebody had like all the consoles in there. And I'm like, I want that. At the time I was in my apartment, I was in the process of getting my house. So I was like, when I get my house in my basement, that's what I want. So once I finally started doing that, I was just like, I don't know why. I just was like, I might as well document this, put it on a channel. So the channel started with me collecting the consoles. And then for the most part, I got everything that I wanted. And then, just watching and finding different content creators, it just kind of grew into something that I thoroughly enjoy. It's brought me, new friends, new knowledge, and things like that. And, it turned me into like a full-blown collector. And I haven't turned back. People see things and think you've been collecting for years. And you tell them we're only a couple years in, they're kind of shocked, you know. But I'm happy to be here. It's been my peace and my safe haven, and you know, I just really enjoy creating content. Like Brandy was saying, you know, just being able to connect with different people all around the world, build new
Yep.
relationships and friendships like that, and you know, especially going to the different conventions and seeing people just kind of in the element. Everybody's kind of in some ways we got that same one thing in common. And that's, to me, that's a beautiful thing. You know, I never honestly been a part of anything like that prior to this, and I'm happy to be a part of it, and I guess be somewhat of a public figure in the public eye, and just kind of connect to the people, be real with them as possible, and try to remain relatable.
Yeah,
No,
I think that's one of the best parts is the community. I mean, the networking, but just making friends. I mean, we've gotten to know so many people. Like,
Yes.
Brandy might know somebody, and then I get introduced to them, and it's like vice versa. And we just grow this big community of people that are all friends and all supportive, and
Yes.
just a loving community. That's what this is. So
Beautiful. Nope.
and speaking of loving community, we have some of our guests. Some
nice
of our
transition there.
some of our people in the chat here. So we have Millennial Collector Ohio says, hey guys. Then we even have Slave to the Mind, hey guys. And then we have Congrats on 30, great guest too. Champ is here, so there you go.
Champ is here.
Go to the chat.
And then we have Mystically saying, what's up, Game Junkies? And then we even have Jeremy popping in. Hello, everyone. Had to tune into my favorite podcast. We do appreciate that.
Jeremy, you're awesome.
And then Slave to the Mind, Game Junction's the best. And we have, it's super cool hearing your story. Games bring us together. And that's exactly what we, we all pretty much, take from this. We're all
Absolutely.
here. We've all met one another. We've all crossed paths like somehow.
We have a
in
mutual
relation to
passion.
Yep.
Yes. So that's what kind of brings us all together is this gaming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now on to, I guess, another question for you. What are some of your first gaming memories?
So of course it was NES. I'm 37. I know the chat don't know. I'm 37 years old. So I was born in 85. And I always tell the story. My last video I talked about it. I felt like I kind of grew with the gaming world, I'm obviously a big fan of Nintendo. I don't know if you guys can see some of the stuff in the back. Huge fan of Nintendo. So I call myself Nintendo World Champion. So it started with NES, but from what I can remember, my first console was a handheld, and I remember getting a Game Boy, and that's where it started for me. And over the years, even without thinking, I had more Nintendo consoles than anything else. It was NES, Game Boy, SNES, N64, GameCube. I just always ended up getting. I got 3 brothers, so the family's kind of big, and everybody kind of had their own stuff. And I didn't want to get what my brothers had, so I ended up always getting Nintendo, which I didn't mind because I enjoyed it, and that's kind of where it started for me. Definitely started with Game Boy, and I haven't looked back. They brought me some great memories. I had great birthdays coming up. That year I think I was 5 when I got the Game Boy. And I believe I was like 7 or 8. I had a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, and I got a Game Gear, and that was like the most amazing thing ever at the time. Color game, handheld, ran through batteries, but
Ran
Yeah,
through all the
heavy
batteries.
too. A little
Yeah.
heavy.
A little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
I love Game Gear though. You got to mod it now. It's just too many
gotta mod it.
batteries.
It's unbelievable. That brings you can fully and thoroughly enjoy Game Gear in 2023 if you get that McWheel mod for sure.
Yes, 100%. It's beautiful. I love it. Absolutely.
Isn't that crazy to think too? At that time, we really thought that was the best that it was ever going to be.
To go
It sure
from
seemed
that
like
to
it.
Yeah, at the time, you look back and you're like, man, this was amazing. I mean, you might get like that feeling playing the game, but visually, you're like, nah. Certain things kind of stand the test of time, but for the most part, is kind of like no. But the fact that we went from that to VR and where we're at now, where consoles are like basically PCs, it's incredible. I'm happy to be a part of that journey.
Yes. And I think that's kind of what we're all doing here. Like, we all look back on some of like the simpler times, those simpler days, and I
Yes.
think we're all just glad to be a part of this ride, just coasting through, seeing what's next, and just thankful that we're here instead of, where we were and looking at some of the original Game Boy screen, it's just
Ooh.
it's insane, like night and day, just seeing what things used to be and what they are now.
I love that puke green screen, man. My
Yeah, it
favorite.
still brings the
That
slides down. They'll slide down the screen,
yeah,
make that little chime noise at the bottom, man.
yes.
Class.
Yeah. I still love that color and aesthetic for like indie games that are being. I don't know if you've played any of those. There's a lot of them out now, actually. But there's a lot of them made around that original Game Boy aesthetic, and I love it. I just love the aesthetic of the original Game Boy. It just needed a backlight. That would have been good, So
Yeah, I mean, they did some amazing things with that. To be honest with you,
they really did,
really.
yeah.
And I feel like the older you get, you appreciate it more. And I definitely could appreciate it. It's like, man, they really did a lot with just that little bit of thing. But it's awesome.
We got people in the chat talking about their dinner, and I'm like over here starving.
I
We
know.
had Retro Rob talking about he had spaghetti, and Mystical City had hot dogs and tots. Talking about this is what I had after my dinner. Rio, that's just as good, my friend. Making me hungry, guys.
And they're saying this is their after dinner entertainment. So look at that. It's like a whole full-on show. Except we don't have the food, so
Yeah, we don't have
You
the
guys-
food.
you guys are making out on the
It's
better end.
BYOF. Bring your own food.
Oh man.
Love it.
So I guess we have some more questions as well. So what type of games do you enjoy playing today? Or like what type of systems? Like what are you currently playing, or what do you look forward to playing?
Right now, on the Series X, I'm playing that. I always Call of Duty. That's my go-to game, just to kind of release, get home from work, just shoot 'em up, bang, simple, playing online. That's my go-to, of course. Playing some PS5 here and there. I'm gonna start playing The Last of Us 2 because the first one was fantastic. So I'm gonna start
Nice.
playing that. I want to get back to streaming, so I kind of been saving stuff. I really need to get on it. I'm sure y'all can relate. Any adult can relate that collects. We have insane backlogs. So it's like, we don't need to necessarily go out and buy more, but I got a bunch of backlog that I want to play. And also the Switch, which I probably play that the most just because it's portable, But I've been
Same.
playing Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which is a fantastic game. I absolutely love that game. I've been playing that a lot lately.
The I haven't gotten to play Deluxe yet, but the original for the Wii is my favorite Kirby of all time. So I'm sure I agree with the new version too.
Yeah, Deluxe is highly, highly recommended. Fantastic game.
Yeah, I got to pick that up soon. Looks great. Looks awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I definitely need to pick it up, but I don't know what you guys are talking about with this whole backlog. I play every game that I own.
All right, get out of here. I'm exiting the podcast now.
Exit stage left.
I thought that's what people did. I mean,
I wish I had the time, right? Like,
yeah,
I might. I don't even have as many as I used to have, and I probably still won't be able to get through everything I do have now. If I'm being real with you, like, I hope that I can. I want to get there, but we'll see. We'll see what time offers.
Yeah, you got that right.
Even okay, people are calling me out now. So Retro Rob said the backlog life is real, and then Blue Soul 96 said, and that was a lie.
He knows what's up.
But we have Mackenzie in the chat saying, "Oh, hold up, is that the big gold wrestling belt in the background? I guess the champ has more."
Oh, we got to interact with the chat. Hold on, I got y'all. They asking for Goldie. We got Goldie for them. Bring Goldie.
That chair is cool.
We can bring Goldie out. That's what they call this. We got Goldie.
Oh, that looks nice.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah, that's Goldie for y'all. Definitely Goldie.
Beautiful. Almost as pretty as me.
Yeah, almost.
Anyone gonna call that one out? No.
Oh boy.
Oh man, gotta love it.
I love it.
So another thing that we can kind of jump into. So we know that maybe not everyone plays every game, but we collect them all, right? And we know that
Oh,
you're
yeah.
going for some full video game sets. I guess
Ooh,
what
okay.
is it that you're currently collecting, and why are you going after these things, and what's the process like? Let us know on that one.
Obviously everybody's watching, so you kind of can see what's back there. It looks a little crazy back there. Currently collecting Nintendo Wii. I don't know why. I can't even really give you an answer. I just thought it was different, and that's going pretty well. I have a complete Wii U set above it. You can't really see it in the camera. I probably
Nice.
can tilt the camera. I did finish that. I finished that a couple years ago before it got crazy. I thank God for that because I paid literally a fraction of what everybody else is paying for theirs. And good luck to everybody. It seems like a lot of people are getting it done. Nobody's really struggling with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just some of those games have gotten insane. But right now my focus is Wii and Game was with me when I started the next one, but we're not talking about that yet. That's down the road. But I kind of semi-started the next set, And I
Nice.
also, on Mr. Rightway's podcast, shout out to Mr. Rightway, I did talk about the direction I may be headed in collecting. And which is with me being such a Nintendo fan, I'm kind of thinking, I feel like the more you grow, I feel like as collectors, we all kind of started off with that. We were buying filler collection, we buy big collections for cheap, have them, it looks great on the wall. And over time, especially when you're trying to collect and it's some expensive games, you got to fund that thing. We don't want to
Yeah.
go to work and do that. We
Yeah.
want to take. So recently, I've sold a great deal of things that I had in here, and they were like variants and stuff like that. I'm not like selling what I have. I won't sell like one ofs. So if I have like more than one 3DS, which I have, I sold. This didn't go well on the other podcast, but I sold my SNES 3DS XL, the new one.
Did you?
I got some good money for it, and
I've
I
been
remember
looking for that forever. I got it when it came out, and so I wanted to get it again. And the prices are just
I bought it new from somebody, and I haggled him now. And then Mr. Rightway came up from Texas. He seen the box. I kept my box, kept everything mint, and he was like trying to take it. He's like, "Dude, you know what they selling these for?" And he showed me, and I looked. I said, "Yeah, this is gone tomorrow." So, but I sold it, and it's really the kind of fun this is. Some of those games were really expensive for the Wii, and I'm happy that for the most, I'm pretty sure I knocked out like the most expensive ones. That's really crazy,
nice.
and I paid out of pocket for like one, but other than that, it's been trades and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm headed, and with the exception of Dreamcast, which is one of my favorite consoles of all time. That and probably the original Xbox. Other than that, other than things I'll probably play, I'll probably sell everything off and, just kind of keep a Nintendo.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean
What?
that makes sense. Everyone's a little bit different. Are you hitting the comments real quick?
Oh, I can. Yeah, go. I'll go ahead. So we've got Mackenzie said, "Oh yes, legit." Talking about your belt. Millennial Collector said, "Woo." I think he's talking about your belt as well. Retro Rob said, "Dang, where is Mr. Rightway? He'd love to see these belts." I'm sure he's seen them, right?
Yeah, Mr. Rightway, he's seen it.
Yeah.
He's seen it.
Then Mystically, sorry. All right, we could have a title match right now. So they want to have a title match live on stream. Cool.
That'd be all.
We got Retro Rob saying, with games getting crazy in price, do you think it's important to have the whole collection or just the ones you want? Especially with us talking about backlogs and that you'll never play all the games, not the ones that are terrible, nor the ones, whatever. I mean, I think he's talking about the Wii set.
Yeah.
Being so many games and stuff.
That's a really good question. If I can get into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess it depends on what kind of collector you want to be. If you want to do a complete set, then obviously, you got to get the shovelware. We has a bunch of shovelware, but you know, that was kind of my thought process in doing it. Yeah, it's 1,274 games, but my thought was, okay, there's a ton of like shovelware. They're gonna be like $1, $2, $3 games, $5 games. Like it won't be as bad as it seems. You know, that was my thought process, and it's kind of been that way for the most part. You know, but I'm also one of those people that like to like randomly play a random game in the stack and just try it, even if it's terrible. Like I'll find it fun. You know, just doing stuff like that. Or you can be the collector to get what you want by any means. Outside of that, you know, just because I felt the joy of the journey of doing the Wii U and finishing it, I wanted to do it again, and that's kind of how I have gauged my collection since then. So you know, that's part of the journey, and you know, I just really appreciate the grind. You know, and I've been documenting that and just getting different ones and being able to trade and you know coming up with these trades to fund that collection. But by all means, you know, if that's what you want, collect what you want. Because outside of that, I'm only getting games that I want, and it's not like a whole bunch unless you know I'm always watching different content creators come across different games that I don't have. It's like, oh yeah, that'd be cool to have, you know, stuff like that. But you know, I've come to this thing where I've kind of created a thing that I probably need trademark DC direction for your collection. You know, I feel like you should have that because if not, it's very easy to get lost in sauce. It's so many different games out there. You know, you could buy lots of games and get them for cheap, and you kind of just got random stuff that's, to be completely honest, they're just sitting on the shelf. They look great, but you know they're kind of there. And yes, you may have backlog, but some things you know you have some sort of attachment to. You have some kind of interest in playing later. You know, so kind of the choice is yours.
Mhm.
Something that just crossed my mind with that too. I actually know two people with full Wii sets, and
Really,
I got to thinking while you're talking. Yeah, whether you care about this or not, that's another question. But a majority of those games will never get ported or brought to anything else ever because they're shovelware. You know what I mean? So like, there's a Build-A-Bear Workshop game on the Wii. Like nobody's ever bringing that over to the PS5 or Switch or none of that stuff's
that,
ever coming to anything else.
that's true. That's very true. Yeah, I never thought about it like that. You know, there's a lot of games that's probably not leaving that Wii generation for sure. You know, except for like the top names, and we've already got those remakes for the most part. So
Mhm.
Right. And plus the motion controls, right? So you'd have to
oh,
have that
absolutely,
exact motion control that the Wii is
yeah,
able to do to get those to work on anything else. So
yeah, which they did very well with some of the games. You know,
yeah,
and that's some of the stuff that you gotta appreciate. You know, depending on your relationship with that console. And you know, for the most part, you know, everyone thinks like, oh, Wii's like crap, you know, compared to true gamers or whatever. But they got some bangers on there that you're not playing anywhere else.
they do.
Smash Brothers being one. Um, Up until recently, Kirby was another one.
Mhm.
Yep.
Tatsunoko versus Capcom is an amazing fighting game.
My favorite,
Amazing, amazing fighting game. You're not playing that anywhere else but on the Wii. So
yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
one of
I
my
mean,
favorite fighters.
that like
definitely.
makes sense too, as well. Like you got to think back. Some of the games that we grew up playing were kind of considered like bad games, but like we didn't know any better. So I wonder if like this new generation coming through is going to see some of that shovelware stuff and want it later in life because they grew up playing it. Maybe that's like the only crappy Wii games that they have. But
Yeah,
like you said, like you said, you've been putting in different games and you might enjoy it. So everyone is a little bit different. Just because it's deemed a bad game, is it really like a bad game where you can't have fun? Or I'm kind of curious about that too, like where like the future shift will be. So I don't think they're all going to be deemed shovelware. Just because one thing's rated bad doesn't mean it's necessarily like the worst or not fun, type of game to play.
Yeah, I think that's all up to the person and their opinion. You know, people can think something's bad and you may not think it's bad. I've been on this thing where I've been collecting a lot of like interactive games, you know, for party nights and things like that. So
oh yeah,
stuff like that are horrible games on paper, but like they're fun. You know, so like you said, some games could be bad, you know, I guess if you want to critique it, but that doesn't take away from it being fun, you know. So I don't to me, I don't get super deep into the specs of games and stuff like that and how they perform. Like the game's really bad is really bad, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, opinions.
Absolutely.
And that makes sense. And we have a few more people stopping in. We have Josh, who was popping in saying, "Hey y'all." He's popping in now. And then he said, "Nothing beats playing Mario Party on vacation with my brother and shaking the pop can on Wii and having his dad walk in." So like we were talking about the motion controls.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he was laughing
That's
about
bad if you walking behind something like
Yeah.
that. Playing. Oh my god, that's horrible.
That's hilarious. Oh, I like that.
So that was the time to be alive, when the Wii came out and you were playing all those different types of games. I think
Obviously.
there were some other ones that I remember playing as well that they kind of had that same thing. And then Mysticles is saying mad respect on the Wii U set. So because you have, a complete set.
Appreciate
And then DC love it. And then we have Josh saying, never played on the Wii U, but I'd like to play it at someone else's house. LOL. We have Retro Rob saying, thanks for answering that. We have Mystically, the Wii will have tons of hidden gems in the future. I think so too. I think there's, because you said that there's so many games out there. Like I didn't even realize there's that many games.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Everybody's got to play Elf Bowling. I mean, that's going to be on my hidden gem list every time.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I also feel like in a couple years, Wii is going to be the one people going after, because when I'm realizing and doing the collection, like more people are going after it than what I imagine. I'm probably a little bit past 3/4 of the way, so I'm almost done. But I feel like every Nintendo console has kind of hit their stride as far as collecting. Right now the craze is GameCube. Wii U still super popular right now. N64 had its time. I think that's going to circle back around. It's just one of those things, man. With Nintendo, I feel like they always kind of have their thing, and I honestly think Wii is, because Wii definitely has some games that it's not going to get anywhere else. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pandora's Tower.
Yep.
Silent Hill for that. Oregon Trail. Those things. I mean, they're probably not great games, but it's games that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Mackenzie's even saying Fragile Dreams Forgotten Game.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
100%.
And then we have Black Ranger popping in. Hey everybody.
What's up?
Black Ranger. Brother, what's up, bro?
Thanks for stopping by. We have Josh saying stream Elf Bowling. Now I need to look it up. So
it was a game we had as kids. We had like really crappy shovelware games too. We get a few of the the first party things, but it's a lot of shovelware crap. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you heard it here first. That's gonna be the best game ever in the world.
Listen, it's one of the best.
It sounds like it. That's one that I don't have yet, believe it or not. So I got to get that one.
Yeah, grab it and you got to play it and stream it and let us know your opinion.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then when you grow, everyone's gonna want that game. That's gonna be like you're gonna
exactly.
Make that price. You see what we did there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. You've heard that we driving prices up.
Now everybody's gonna want Elf Bowling tomorrow.
But Disney's Violetta, I may have drove that price up. And all of a sudden, after I made my video about it, all videos start popping. I mean, games start popping up all over the place, all over eBay.
Oh my goodness.
When I bought one, there was none.
That's how it goes. I mean, that's how it goes. There's one YouTube video that gets made about a game, and that's it.
Right. Yeah. It's true.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
And we even have Mackenzie saying, or no, Josh is saying first, Wii was a great console, but some of the games seem like they were made on Wish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the Wish. You'd have like the Wish version of you'd have like the Wish version of Mario. What was there's a ton of those 3D platformers that are like trying to be like a Mario 64 or something. Some of them are fun though. I've played a few. Like Gingerbread Man, that's one of them.
Yeah, I remember that.
Or it's called Ninja Bread Man, I think. I got it back here. I can't grab it right now.
Yeah, I got that one. But you know, we was one of the ones where anybody that was kind of semi-popular was able to get a game. Hey, we're gonna make
Yep.
Mel B from Spice Girls a fitness game. Like, no lie, she's got a game. Dance with Mel B. I'm just saying, you know, a lot of people I never even heard of have games. So yeah, it was just one of those things. Weird, super weird titles on there too.
I've got this one. It's over here in a sealed box set, but it comes with a camera for the Wii. It's like a fitness game. I'm trying to remember what it's called.
I just got that in the box.
The Ubisoft camera, yeah, yeah,
Totally got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
it's so funny.
Yeah,
Well,
that's weird coming on the camera. That sounds creepy.
it is weird.
Watch work out.
Yeah, so we have a couple questions. So first of all, Mackenzie saying Game Junction moving the price charting prices. And then Mysticles is saying, how far along on your Wii set are you? So you said 3/4 of the way? And how many games were there? And
All right, so this is being told on Game Junction. I ain't even said this on my channel yet because I got so much backlog of content.
heard it here
I'm
first.
at
Heard it here
I'm at
first.
it's in total it's 1,274 games,
Mhm.
and I have 1,050,
Nice.
Oh.
and that's about a year since I said I was starting. So it's about a year. Not bad. And I feel like honestly, if I wasn't like a responsible adult and a dad, I'd have been done. I think so. You know, but it is what it is. I'm enjoying the ride. So yeah, 1,050. So I'm close.
That's super close.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and then Black Ranger's bringing up a good point because I actually did a series on my channel as well on this. Wii Fitness games were great for exercising during the pandemic. He said I didn't do it, but there were plenty of them.
I played the one fitness game with the Switch one with the
Ring Fit Adventure.
Ring Fit. Yeah, I played that during the pandemic. Yeah.
Mhm.
I did a whole a weight loss journey on my channel back
Okay.
when that had happened, and I had lost like 45
It's
pounds
fun.
playing video games.
Yeah, it's fun.
I didn't go to the gym or anything. I literally played video games and I ate a little bit better and drank a little bit more water, and I lost 45 pounds playing Ring Fit Adventure, Wii Fit, Wii Sports, all of these different like Wii games. I just hooked up a little Wii balance board because you can find them everywhere at the thrift stores for like $1, and I mean it's great.
There's a lot of them. There's some fun ones too. I really like the Wii the second Wii Sports on what is it? Wii Sports Resort. Yeah, that one's really fun with the sword fighting and all the other stuff they add in there. The volleyball. Oh, I love it. So much fun.
Yeah, Black Ranger mentioned that. There's an inside joke with that.
There's
so next time you come over, there's an inside joke. We're playing Wii Fit Plus next time you come over, buddy.
I want to see it. Stream it. I want to see it.
Yeah, man. I'm all for it.
Yeah, and then we have Josh is saying, "Holy crap, that's so many games." And then Mysticles is saying, "Awesome, you're about done." So, I mean, that is great progress.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
then Black Ranger is saying, "Video Game Votary makes me spend my money all the time." And we have Josh saying, "Game Raymer with the new workout video, how much you gonna charge?"
Oh my god.
Well, I guess that's in the pipeline.
Yeah. That's an exclusive.
Yeah, that'll have to be like extra content.
It's behind the paywall.
And then Carl is stopping in. Howdy, y'all. Howdy.
What's up, Carl?
And then Black Ranger's making all kinds of faces at you, I think. I think they're
Angry
directed
faces.
at you.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to exercise. That's why he's saying.
Oh, jeez. It's cardio. Cardio sucks. I don't disagree with him.
And Josh is saying, we heard it here first. And this has been a big first.
Yeah, we're getting all kinds of exclusives tonight.
So we'll jump into some news with that.
All right.
So did everyone watch the Super Mario Brothers movie, the final trailer that was announced?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
What was your first reaction? I guess you guys want to go on that one, and I'll let you know what happened with me.
I was just all excited. I was like, heck yeah. I'm ready to see the movie now. That's kind of my reaction.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I actually watched it live with Mr. Rightway. We were I think it was right before the podcast, you know, we were backstage or whatever, the cameras on. He asked me if I watched. I said not yet. I was busy doing whatever. So we watched it together and I got super excited when they showed like that they were incorporating Mario Kart. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yes.
this is
Rainbow
awesome.
Road. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm like, yeah, they I could tell the movie's gonna be great. I can't wait to see it.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. I have a feeling. Actually, I'm like 99% sure this is going to become the best-selling video game movie of all time. Like it's gonna outbeat Sonic's records. It's gonna be outbeat Wreck-It Ralph, all that stuff. Detective Pikachu. Like it's, I have a strong feeling it's going to, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I definitely have that feeling too. And all right, so I'm the type of person where I don't really show a lot of emotion except for like happiness. And when I watched the trailer, I literally had tears running down my face of joy. I was so happy because there was just like so much that I like caught in there. I mean, you guys mentioned it with Rainbow Road. I mean,
Oh yeah.
just seeing that and seeing like that like action of, Mario Kart, and then who else like flipped out when they saw Donkey Kong?
And Luma,
Like,
too.
I just like firepower Donkey Kong, and then seeing Luma. I mean, it was like crazy.
We got
It was
Rosalina's got to be either in this or coming, like in a sequel for sure.
that's what I think. There has to be.
You don't
a
just show
sequel.
Luma without Rosalina. It doesn't make sense. So
And you can't just like stop it. If it's anything like you said, like the other video game movies, they have to have sequels. You can't just have like a one and be done. Like you just can't.
I don't want
Yeah,
him
you
to
should.
either. We'll get more merch, more merch,
Yeah.
more cool
Keep
stuff.
going.
Right. You know how Nintendo is. So that was one thing that I felt like was gonna make this movie great because how critical Nintendo is with having people kind of produce things that have their, main characters and things like that a part of, they're super critical. They're not gonna have something go out that's gonna misrepresent them. But hopefully they allow them to kind of continue the series because that can go so many different directions and so far down a storyline. You can go Super Mario Kart, you could go Super Mario Maker, you can go Super Mario RPG. It's a Smash Brothers. It's a million ways you can take that franchise. So
Give me Super Mario Maker Mario in the movie. I just want to see. Give me like a quick 3 seconds of him with the outfit in the movie, like building a building or something. I love that outfit with Mario. I think the yellow makes it pop. I love it.
yeah,
I'm such a nerd for Super Mario Maker.
Yeah, I know. There's so many different spin-offs and different stories and
So much they could do.
characters. I mean, there's really so much that they can do. We've had how many Mario games or
Over
Mario's been
300.
out? That's
it's a
shocking.
lot.
It is a lot. There's the weird PC game. You got to go deep. CDI.
Yeah, that's really
Every
CDI.
version of Mario Brothers that came out for all three Ataris, ColecoVision, Television, the
Yeah.
PC games. Mario teaches typing. Mario
yeah,
teaches
no.
typing too. All that weird stuff.
Definitely.
Very true. I didn't even think about all that.
Yeah. Hotel Mario.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everyone's favorite.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we have some people in the chat. Josh is saying that needs to be on the merch. We heard it here first. And then can't wait, have to see it. I don't care if it's here or Cali. I'm guessing for the trail or the movie.
Yeah.
And then Carl is saying, "Oh, bless Brandy." I was like that for the Sonic trailer. So yeah,
I was
pretty
too. I was too. Yeah. The first one, not.
first time that they revealed it. Not the first
Oh
time.
no, that was terrible. That was like nightmare fuel, Sonic. That was terrible. Did you guys watch? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you guys watch the new Chippendale movie?
Oh
I
no.
have.
You get-
a chance to see that.
Okay, when you get time, like in the next week or so, watch that because they use that version of Sonic in the movie as a character, and his name is literally Ugly Sonic.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, yeah, he's in the movie like several times. It's hilarious. He's at conventions signing autographs as the original Sonic movie character. It's like super funny. Super funny.
We have with the release of NSO and the expansion pack, do you think the movie will still increase the value of physical Mario games? We have Black
Not the
Ranger
games that we have on there, I don't think. Because they're like it depends. They're like the most basic Mario games. We don't have anything like extensive. You know what I mean? Like I can't. The only one I can think of that's like not a mainline Mario game or like a super popular one is the Mario and Luigi RPG game.
Mhm.
So I mean maybe it's so hard to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's hard to say too. And for anyone watching NSO on Nintendo Switch Online,
Yes.
for anyone watching who didn't quite catch that,
Yeah, we skipped a major comment. We skipped a really good comment. I just saw it.
about to working out again.
GAW equals gamer aimer workout.
I must have missed that one.
Yeah.
Glad you brought it back up.
I was just scrolling through the comments. Sorry, I saw you skipped over it.
We have Carl saying, "Not the Abomination Sonic trailer." Yes.
Yeah, that was nightmare fuel.
And then Josh is saying, "That was funny. I seen the Chip and Dale." I didn't even see that. I don't.
Me and my daughter watched it, and like it was around my birthday, so late November. But it's really good. Like it's a really good movie. They use like the old version of Chip and Dale, and then like a 3D animated version of Chip and Dale, and they like meet up. It's like a meetup of them from the cartoon, and then like a live action version. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Yeah, it's super cool.
So on to some other. We had some other major news as well. So not only did we get the Mario movie final trailer, we did get the Capcom spotlight. So we'll just go ahead and jump into that. I know that Brandon watched it. I only like caught a little clip of it. I'm sure that you know a little bit about some of these titles too. So we have Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak coming to the PS5 and the PC.
Yeah, so I have that and have played it on Switch, not as heavily as I have like other Monster Hunters, but it's a big deal because it was a Switch exclusive and it was kind of like touted as being like only for the Switch. So people were pretty shocked when it was being brought over, and they showed it and it looks beautiful, almost as if it's like a brand new game, but it's literally, you know, it's being brought to the PS5 from Switch. And I believe it's going to have cross-platform play, and like, you know, it's like a pretty big deal for like the Monster Hunter community to have like a console exclusive game being brought to something else. The game before that was exclusive to Xbox and PlayStation, never came to Switch, so Monster Hunter World. So it was kind of cool seeing a Switch, what wasn't exclusive, being brought to those. It looks beautiful, it looks really good, so I think people are pretty excited about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's always good, you know, as well. That way, you know, more people kind of get, I guess, they kind of get like exposed to that type of game. They have a chance of it. You know, you can't really go out there and buy every single system. I know we do, but you know, some people they can't do that. So
Right,
for
yeah.
some kids and stuff and some families, if they want to experience something, you know, they're not gonna be able to experience that if they only have the one system. So I always think that's nice.
I like it. I like it too, and I think the other like kind of flipping that, there's a lot of people that are PlayStation, Xbox only that don't play like Nintendo consoles at all. So it's cool to have like that audience also be introduced to it and like get to experience that game and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And then there was even something, Ghost Trick was mentioned. That's coming to Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that was a DS exclusive game that's being brought over. It's like half visual novel, half like Phoenix Wright with a little bit of point and click, but it's got like a really good story. It's like a fan favorite. Like people love the game. It's super expensive on DS now, several $100s. So like that's a big deal because it's stuck on the DS like $400, and yeah, I mean it looks pretty good. They like remastered the music, redid the graphics, so looks cool.
And then we also have Resident Evil 4. We have the chainsaw development. So we got a little bit more information, I guess, for Resident Evil 4 fans. Did anyone pre-order that game or the collector's edition or anything?
Yeah, I did the collectors.
I tried. I missed that one.
Hey, you grabbed the others, so.
I only have 2. I don't have 3.
I haven't
love
even
4.
played 3 yet. I don't even have the game yet. I don't even have 3.
I think I played the demo and that was it.
Yeah, I heard it. There's like some like a lot of mixed opinions on that one. 2 is really good. That was a great remake though. That was an amazing game.
And then we also have Resident Evil, the animated movie coming. So with all of these different movies, we have, another movie. And that is Resident Evil Death Island, the trailer with Jill and Leon meeting. So I think that's pretty exciting to come out.
Yeah.
I think with all of these different, video game movies, I think we're going to start seeing even more stuff kind of pop up, like the HBO, series. If you guys are watching The Last of Us, I know that you mentioned that you want to play through the second one. Is that because you're catching up on the series, or you plan on watching it, or?
Plan on watching. I haven't watched the series yet, but I did play the first one, and like that. I guess in the past few years, that was one of those games that really, really captured my attention, and I enjoyed it. Really brought that real gamer feel. Had to go to work, couldn't wait to get home, get back on it, and try to finish it. So I definitely love that storyline. Of course, people thought that they were real critical of part 2, said it wasn't that good, but to each his own. We'll just have to see for myself, but I do have it, so I can't wait to dive into that. And also the TV show as well. I'm seeing clips side by side of different scenes from the game.
Yeah.
And it's like they nailed it,
Oh yeah.
So it's great.
I still haven't started watching it yet, but just from what I've seen, like, get out of here.
I think I'm missing tonight's episode.
Yeah, you say this I can't wait until the show's over so she quits saying that. Oh my god. Every Sunday. Every Sunday.
No, but it is great. I love it. It's really picking up and stuff now too. So it's really great. I'm not going to say any spoilers, but I know before some people in the comments weren't a fan of it. So we'll just catch up on some of these. For the Chip and Dale, they were saying it's on Disney Plus, they think.
Yes, it is.
And then Carl said that he's going to watch it now based on Brandon's recommendation. Then we have Josh who's saying, yeah, I can't do it. Sadly, collecting all consoles. Kids coming first on that end because of what they need before my gaming wants/needs. That's reasonable. And then Resident Evil 4 again. And then Mysticles is saying 3 is okay. Carl said, unfortunately didn't fit the gaming budget for the collector's edition for Resident Evil 4, but definitely will get the standard edition. At least getting to play it. And then Mysticles is saying, I prefer the originals. Where is the Dino Crisis reboot?
Yes, I keep saying this. What's going on? They're giving us... We're about to talk about the game, so I'll just say the title. Exoprimal. That could have been Dino Crisis. That's all I'm saying.
And then Carl saying he's super looking forward to the new Resident Evil movie. And then Josh is even saying, I want Crash Bash remade or released. Yeah, I think a lot of those, games should come back. I think it'd be nice to see quite a few of these like remasters and, things kind of upgraded, and you go back and you try and play some of these games and it's a little hard on your eyes. It's a little difficult. So it would be nice if they can bring, certain games back. But I guess since you know a little bit more about this, you said it could be Dino Crisis. We'll just jump into it. So Capcom Spotlight also said something about Exoprimal. Day 1 Game Pass and the game free open beta.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. My mic was making noises. So,
we were introducing Exoprimal.
Oh, you're good. So Exoprimal It's kind of like a Overwatch meets Fortnite meets like Resident Evil type of deal. So it's an online multiplayer shooter focused around dinosaurs in mechs and then also killing dinosaurs. Like it's super weird, like over the top. It's very online focused. I think it might be only online. I'm not 100% certain on that because we've not gotten enough info. But it's like a multiplayer shooter, like a little Titanfall-esque with dinosaurs. Like it gave that vibe too, very much like Overwatch, Titanfall. Just another thing that seems like kind of I probably won't even get to play it. You know, it's those type of games. They're a dime a dozen. Other than the dinosaurs, it didn't show anything like that grabbed my attention. And a lot of people said that on the stream. So like I said, Dino Crisis. That's all I want.
Yeah, that's what Mysticles is saying. Really, just give us Dino Crisis.
Yeah, that's my favorite. 1 and 2 are my favorite like survival horror games of all time. I love those games.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. Maybe we'll get something in the future.
No,
Not
I
gonna
doubt
hold
it.
my breath, but
I
you have
doubt it.
not heard it here first.
You did not hear that. Don't put us on the top of IGN tomorrow. I swear to God.
It'll be like these little small podcasts said, "Hey, this fake news."
Yeah, fake news.
And then Mysticles is saying Ark is hard to beat for only Dino games.
I've never played Ark.
I haven't either.
The Ark's, was it Survival Evolved or something? Whatever it's called. Yeah, I have it on Xbox One, but I've never played it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Yeah. And just, again, those type of games are a dime a dozen. Like, they just...
If I own it, I have played it.
Oh, wank.
And then we'll just jump into the next thing. We have the final trailer for Battle Network. Mega Man, that's your thing.
Oh, I don't know what Mega Man is. So they showed like the final what I think is the final trailer, basically is what they were saying. It comes out next month. It's got all the games, all versions, all packed into one. They showed that all the exclusive chips that were like physical Japanese cards that you had like scan in there will all be in the game. They also added it's essentially like an easy mode, so you can set the bosses to have like a 1 or 2 hits with shooting your weapons with the chips and they'll basically die. So like if you only care about the story, you don't like the combat and just want to see the story, or just want like an easy playthrough for the bosses, like that's an option. And then you can like switch back and forth. If you find it being too easy, then you can switch on the fly to like the regular mode and all that stuff. So that's pretty much what they showed. Remastered music. I mean, that was about it. Just a little bit more about the games. It's just a collection, so like I don't know what else they really could have showed, but those are the couple of new things they showed.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll probably have to look more into it. And the one that I was pretty excited about, I'm sure, since I'd say we're all pretty much like fighting game fans here, you know.
Oh yeah.
We at least like them. Are you excited for Street Fighter 6?
Oh yeah, that game looks amazing. It looks amazing.
It does.
Yeah, excited for that.
100%.
Yeah, so jumping on that topic, that was also mentioned. They did the final commentator reveal. That comes out, what, June 2nd, 2023?
Yeah, it's real soon. We don't have that long, so. They already had that first beta, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, even that story mode looks a little intriguing, how you can kind of...
The World Tour, yeah.
That's definitely different. And
it's 3D.
Even the fact that I didn't think too much into it. I thought it was different. The fact that like they included different commentators for different parts of the world and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they included one of the female wrestlers, is Lena Vega. I think she's doing commentator.
Yeah.
So it's like I think that's a part of like the story mode with your character. You know, you can kind of interact with different people. You get in a fight and somebody's like commentating and then they have something that they can encourage you while you're playing, like like how live commentation is with the fighting tournament stuff like that. It's definitely different to me. What I understand is probably the first of its kind to do something like that. So
Yeah, I think we're all looking forward to it. I can't wait. I mean, I saw a little bit on it. I guess like the last news thing that they did. So, I'm always looking forward to a new Street Fighter, any new characters. It looks like from the last news thing that they had, that's exciting as well. I think it'll be cool to see something a little bit different, and then I guess we'll just have to like see, how it compares to some of the other ones, and then see like where it goes from there. Hopefully it does well. Hopefully, there aren't really too many critiques on it, and then hopefully we can kind of keep developing more and more, for Street Fighter 7 and, however it goes from there. So
yeah, it appears that way. I think Capcom had a lot to make up for that last Marvel vs. Capcom because people were disappointed
mhm.
that it changed so much. So yeah, I think they put a little bit more into Street Fighter.
Yeah, and let's hope so because you gotta think Street Fighter, like going back all the way to the beginning, with the arcades and it being so big, and then having it on like the Super Nintendo, and I don't know about you, but that's something I like going back and playing. There's like nothing better than playing those in the arcades, playing, some of the older systems, and like
Hmm.
you said, Marvel versus Capcom, different fighting franchises and different types of things like that. It's always great going back to those older style games, and you want, this whole series to keep doing well, and you want, each fighting franchise to just have like these gems, and you don't really want things to kind of like change or like, like in a worse way. So,
Yeah, just not change what you know for. Street Fighter is definitely a pillar, if not like the first major fighting game franchise.
mhm.
Between them and Mortal Kombat, but definitely Street Fighter was first, and it kind of laid the groundwork for stuff. Obviously, we don't want Street Fighter 2 gameplay, but we want to see them expand and not go too far away from it. And that's where Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite failed. They went away from the 3 team and they went to 2, and fans were not happy about that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, because if something seems to be working, it's like, why change it? Why take something away if, the first thing was like more, if you're getting like more out of it, and then you scale back or you shift things, and playing like Street Fighters, especially like over the years, kind of going through that whole entire franchise, it's just a little disheartening when you see things like change up, or you see that maybe they're not putting as much time and effort into certain things.
Sorry, I think I might have. Can you hear me okay? No.
Nope. I think we're having a
Dang
little
it.
bit of technical
Sorry,
difficulty.
guys. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you're
You can
back.
hear me?
We're
Okay.
back.
All right.
Yep.
Cool.
We were just talking about like Street Fighter changing over time, but we can hit some of these
Yeah,
comments real quick.
definitely.
Let's see. We have speaking of the Dino games, what do you guys think of Turok games on the Nintendo 64?
I
I
love
know that we
them.
just hit like a milestone with another This Day in Gaming. I remember talking about that briefly. So, did you guys enjoy playing that on the N64?
Oh yeah, played tons of it. Both of them. Did you guys get to play those at all?
There was like four of them on
On
the
the
N64.
64? I
Yeah,
only
there was
know
like
about
one.
one and Seeds of Evil. Are you sure?
I thought it was 2.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
pretty sure it was only two because I had them both as a kid. I read
They
the
have
comics and everything
There's
for them.
Rage Wars. Rage Wars. It's a two-tone. You have the black cartridge and you have the gray cartridge.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yes, there is Rage Wars. There's 3. So I did not have Rage Wars as a kid. I had 1 and Seeds of Evil. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know.
But
I
not
know there's
4.
like one.
No, there's no 4.
Well, if you're a physical collector like me and you have different variants of things,
Oh, here we go.
there's like a good chunk on my shelf.
Here we go.
I would know I've played every game that I own.
yeah, we forgot about that.
That's our new inside joke.
And then speaking of inside jokes, Josh is saying gonna start putting a bunch of gaming news on socials and tag y'all with the hashtag heard it here first. We have Bryce stopping in. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, what's up, Bryce?
Josh is saying Brandon equals struggle bus. Oh, we're good now. Yeah, we have Mystically saying there were 3 Rage Wars, 2 is awesome. And then Josh is saying, gotta step up your game, Brandon. With,
Jeez, man. Everybody's attacking me. While we're talking about Turok, though, have you gotten to play Rage Wars? I still have never played that. I would like to play that sometime.
I never played it.
Brandy, I gotta check it out sometime. I don't think it's... Limited Run did those Turok. I feel like they only did 1 and 2, but if they did Rage Wars, I might have to... I don't know. We'll see.
I have the Limited Run ones, but once again, I didn't open those.
Did they do Rage Wars, though? Did they port Rage Wars, too?
They did. I think I only have 1 or 2 of the Limited Run versions. We're gonna have to look a couple of these things
Yeah, because if they did, I would love to pick that up, but I'm pretty sure they didn't. Rage Wars was a weird one, and it didn't sell, and it was like a big flop, so that's why it's expensive now. It was like a weird, it wasn't like a normal Turok game.
It's a multiplayer only game?
Yeah, it's weird. It's not like a normal Turok game.
And then we have, if we didn't joke on ya, you know, we didn't care. Since I am, I can tell you I care. And then Carl is saying, Rage War sounds like me when I can't get a game to load.
Listen, so let me tell you a story. I was loading up the Commodore 64 the other day because I wanted to film something on it. And I finally got a couple of cassette-based games again. So I put one of them in. The game takes about 5 to 6 minutes to load the game up on tape.
Jeez.
Like literally, like about 5-6 minutes. Like I was timing it. It's like a little over 5 minutes just to start the game. But then you get to a new level, and then you got another 5 minutes of loading just to play the game. I was like, I was a little, it was obviously past my time, but I got to play one, and we had one. So it was like, you know, we were weird when I told you, like, my first system was the 2600. We had that. That was like the very first gaming memory I ever remember. So it's weird, man. About 5 minutes in between, they give you, there's a Lord of the Rings game on there, and in the collector set, they give you the Lord of the Rings book, and the guide tells you to read that in between loading screens.
I saw something off there.
Yeah. It's wild. Gives you the whole book to read between.
Wow.
Yeah, and you gotta think, too, back during those times, people were probably like, yeah, this is awesome! You know, all excited to play these things and have like these load times. I mean, but you can kind of relate to it a little bit today. Like when you put in a disc game and it already has to do updates, and
pretty much the same thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you get like your disc game. You come home, you put it in like the PS4, the PS5. It does like this whole update, and you're like, I'm so excited. And then like 20 minutes pass, 30 minutes pass. Next thing you know, you're like laying down, like sleeping, and then in the middle of your sleep, you hear like this like ding. It's fully uploaded, and you're like, well, it's time for bed now.
So while we're talking about that, let me ask you guys a question. So the PS4 and the PS5 have this. Same with the Xbox One, the Series X, and also the Switch has it. But for some reason, it doesn't work for me on any system and never has. You're supposed to be able to have an auto update feature, so your stuff is staying updated all the time. I'll go on there, and there'll be a system update waiting for me. I gotta check my settings to make sure, like, do I not have this set right? Oh, no, it's set right. Just the PS5 just doesn't update for me ever when I'm not playing it.
Is it turned on? Like I have my stuff on like
all the time.
I switch them off.
Yeah, I leave it. Yeah, they're all like plugged up, Ethernet and everything, ready to go.
Yeah, I haven't got that to work, but I did one time remotely download the game content for the game before I got the game.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do that with Call of Duty because I knew that was like It's one of those ones where it was a huge
Massive.
update. So I did it at work. Told my son, "Hey, turn this Xbox on before I get off work. That way it's done when I get home."
I don't want to
You know.
wait an hour to play the game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, those are aggravating in that regard.
So,
We have Mr. Rightway in the chat. He's saying, "What? What? What?" And then he's like, "How y'all?" So we're doing well. How are you? Thanks for stopping in tonight.
What's up?
We also have Josh also welcoming Mr. Rightway in. And then we did have a couple other things. People were talking about GTA loading equals Rage Wars, GTA 6 Rage Wars, Fallout 4, how they have game tips when it's loading. Yeah, I mean, I like when they do something a little bit different. And then you can spin the character art around as well. So, I mean, I guess it kind of keeps you a little bit still intrigued, in the game instead of like wandering away. So I guess that helps a little bit. But,
Right.
the forever like waiting for games to load
or update.
So I guess we'll go ahead and use this time real quick. We do appreciate everyone stopping in. We keep having people still continue to come in. We do appreciate all of the comments, all of the likes and shares and everything else for you guys. We do try and get through all these different comments, so we do appreciate it. And once again, we also appreciate everyone who has purchased some of our merch. We have Teespring. We're also adding different merch designs pretty often. We have more than just t-shirts. You can also get t-shirts on a bonfire as well. And then we do also have our Patreon, where we have like blooper reels, and we have other cool things that we add on there throughout the week as well when we're filming, and all of these like extra little blooper reels and different topics and extra content. So we do appreciate that. Make sure you guys check out all the links and everything. And we're also going to have to leave some links and everything below for Game Votary, for stopping by.
Absolutely.
We do appreciate that. And make sure you guys go over and check out his channel about collecting the Nintendo Wii, other little things that we won't talk about yet. We'll let him reveal some of that, and his collecting journey and everything like that. So we do appreciate it. And then I guess we'll just jump into some of our other topics. We have retro gaming in 2023 and beyond. Is it weird calling disc-based systems retro now?
That's a hard one. I'm thinking.
We're getting older, and some of these systems are starting to like become like retro gaming because they are certain number of years old.
If we're talking, Sega CD and TurboGrafx CD and Jaguar CD, then yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that weird? Like, you would really think that a lot of like cartridges are retro, and like vintage, and now we're starting to like move into like these like time shifts.
We're getting really close to
GameCube.
I feel like we're like right on that edge of a NES being considered like a vintage console, like heading the way of the Atari and Commodore 64 and television, to where it's like it's a little bit of a divide there. There's like a little bit of a divide between just like retro. When somebody says retro, I don't know how to explain this very well. I know what you guys know what I'm talking about, but like if you say that, for a lot of us, like the cutoff point is like NES, right? For a lot of people. And that's not necessarily the case for us, like as a whole. I know me and Brandy still like other stuff beyond that. I love a ton of stuff beyond that. But like that's the cutoff point for people. I think we're moving along where we're heading the other generations where like NES is going to be like, after that cutoff or before that cutoff point. So we're going to be looking at like Super Nintendo being like the first one that anybody so it's we're heading that way, I feel like, for sure. We're very, very close there. Yeah,
because we have some people in the comments. Josh is saying, I'd say PS1, 2 for sure in that time. That'd be the newest I'd call retro. GameCube, I'd say, is almost. And then we also have him saying, appreciate you guys working so hard and Millennial Collector Ohio is saying awesome show, guys. So we do appreciate everyone, but
Definitely.
yeah, it's a little, weird to say and weird to like think what is retro and vintage when we started collecting, because we've all been collecting for like quite a bit now
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
doing all of this. We used to think like Atari stuff was like vintage and all that, and Magnavox Odyssey and those things. And now it's crazy because when I do like these, days in gaming, people comment, they say like retro and vintage and this and that. And I'm like, I'm talking about like the PlayStation or, like disc-based games. Like
Right.
how is that old?
I mean, PS1. Let's be real. I definitely do feel like, because in the same vein, you're talking Sega Saturn, and really you're also talking Jaguar and Jaguar CD.
Yeah.
That's the same. That's the same
Mhm.
generation. So
Sure.
I mean, it'd be hard for me to not say that's retro. That's definitely retro. I think in my heart, I almost consider PS2 retro, even though for us it's like, that doesn't really necessarily seem like retro. But I think we're heading there. We're close if it's not already there. I mean, I see people talking about 360 being retro.
Yeah, that's
So,
what they're commenting
and that's the
on.
same thing. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so it would be the same. PS3 retro, 360 retro. It's a little bit hard because it's only 2 generations away. Like, I don't think I necessarily consider it retro, but we're heading there. Like, people are calling GameCube retro all the time. And,
Yeah, I think it depends on like the age demographic, but for the
yeah,
most part, like for me, I decided my collection was gonna start like with NES because
sure.
I know of things prior to it, but that's not really like my time
Sure.
period.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say for sure, I think anything pre-NES would be considered vintage, and then maybe like the NES, the Master System, stuff like that. Uh, and really anything up until my opinion up to PS2, I think those are retro, and even 360. That's borderline. I feel like once it became HD and you were able to use the HDMI port, I feel like that's when we kind of crossed to,
Yeah.
you know, I guess our current time frame of generation of gaming. But prior to
Sure.
that, yeah, all those things are retro, I think.
Yeah,
Eh,
that's a good point about the, HDMI ports and things
Right.
like that.
Because we
Yeah,
still
that's
use
kind of
that. We still
yeah, I
use
gauge myself,
HDMI.
yeah. Yeah, and then like especially if you got a game room, you got a modern TV, you probably got, you know, PS4, and then you also got a PS3 next to that.
Right.
Because everything you need converters, or unless you got, a retro TV, PVM or whatever the case may be, to play retro games.
You got a
So
PVM? You brought up PVM. I'm a big
don't
CRT guy.
I definitely won't. I got a little mini CRT. I had to condense my game room smaller, so I got a little 13-inch with the VHS, the VCR connected, which I thought was
Nice.
cool.
That's very cool.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely want a PVM big time. Like that,
Mhm.
to me, that's the most amazing thing you can play retro gaming on.
It took me like 15 years to find one. I live in a very small town, like middle of nowhere. But it took a very, very long time for me to find one. And then for some reason, all of a sudden, I started finding a couple. I found like a couple lesser models. Like I kind of like moved my way up to like something I really, really wanted, like to use as like my main unit. So it still took longer than that, but
Mhm.
they're amazing. I love CRTs. I say it all the time. I love it just as much as video games. Sometimes I love it more. So that's like my that's my little expertise is CRTs.
Yeah, people agree too. In the comments about CRTs, some people are even saying, someone mentioned the other day that 20 years is the cutoff for retro, but I don't think there is a hard and fast rule though. So that was Carl, and then Josh is saying I'd say it's got to at least be 20 years old to call that retro, and he's also saying he doesn't have a CRT or converter, so it's interesting.
Yeah, another
That
thing is too, what you were bringing up about the HDMI. Do you guys actually remember the 360 actually did not launch with an HDMI port?
I
Yeah,
do.
I have those. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yep.
you had either you could use AV or component,
Hmm.
or S video, but yeah, they actually didn't even launch with those. So it's like it's a very interesting question. But if you're talking about 20 years, I mean,
Hmm.
it's debatable. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
cool.
What year did 360 launch? Was it 2008?
Let's check.
2009?
2008, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it was
2007.
around. It's either 2007 to 2009, one of those. So we're not even at the 20-year mark then, if that's the case, either any of those years.
It says Xbox 360 launched November 22nd, 2005.
Oh, okay. So we're
Was that
close.
Japan?
Huh?
You know, sometimes we could be. Was that Japan release? You know, sometimes we can be a year off from that date in the U.S.
It was released in November 22nd, 2005 in the United States and Canada, December 2nd, 2005 in Europe, and December 10th. That's shocking because usually we get it last.
Well,
Like,
you
usually
gotta
we
remember,
get
Xbox wasn't a Japan thing, right? Like they didn't
Yeah,
even
that's
like
Nintendo
Xbox.
stuff. That
Yeah, they
does
didn't like Xbox. They didn't even support it there at all when the
very
first
true. They're big on
Xbox.
Nintendo, so
Yeah.
okay, that does make sense then.
But yeah, so 2005 and then 2006 for PS3, Carl said. So yeah, I was a couple years off. I can't even remember what happened today, so bear with me, guys. But yeah. Yeah, I
It
mean,
came out that early.
yeah, and
Yeah.
even then at 2005, we're still not at 20 years. So is it retro? Is it actually retro? If that's like the defining thing that 20 years is a cutoff point. Like,
That's right. Yeah, it was 2005. Okay, because I'm thinking back to school years,
yeah.
and I did have one. Okay, I did have one in high
So
school.
I got a 360 2 years after the Wii launched. So the Wii launch was in 2000. I feel like that was 2007. Let me look it up. I could be wrong in that exact year.
2005, I was finishing up college, so and you know, at that time, you know, we
2006.
were growing, so that was when I took my little break from gaming. Other than the,
Yes.
you know,
We
every
all
now
had
and then.
that.
Yeah, so I know I picked it back up in 2008 because I got a 360. My first son was born, so
Yeah,
that's
this
when I came back up.
2008. So yeah, that would have been what, just 3 years after it. You got a 360 or a PS3?
I had got a 360 first, but that sound I just don't remember it being out that long, but apparently it was. It just didn't seem like it was that long. I felt like it was a couple months because I was like, man, that looks cool.
Yeah.
You know, then I end up getting it, and it's like, and I got it like at the January of 2008. You know, so I don't know. It don't seem like it was out for 3 years, but
Well, I'm like a little bit surprised too, because for some reason I thought the Wii was 2008, but I got it at launch too. Like we got it was for me, my brother and sister. So November 19th, 2006. And yeah, I got the 360 2 years after the Wii came out. So I'm crazy, man. Time is not our friend.
yeah, it's not at all.
Yeah, so if we're going off that 20 years, we're only 2 years away for it to be considered retro, apparently.
Yeah, it's not that long. Not that
I
long.
mean, we're all getting old.
Yeah. I swear it was in 2007, but that's very close to 2007. So maybe that's
Yeah,
why.
Mr. Rightway saying Wii was 2006. Yeah, it's different, and then Carl's saying Xbox 360 launched in 2005, PS3 was 2006. Oh, the Red Ring of Death version. So that was when we did get the Xbox 360, that first one. I think I did
Oh yeah, that would make sense because I remember the arcade version was out at the
Yes,
time.
arcade.
You showed the hard drive, the other, I guess, hard drive systems came out of time because I remember the arcade version was $200.
Yeah, I have that. I still have one of those sealed, the
Yeah.
Xbox Live Arcade version.
I guess
Yeah.
in that sense it would make sense because I know they all weren't available at release. It was just that original, the white one that got all the red rings of death before they corrected it.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
my friend getting Red Ring of Death.
That's
He-
what it was.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean that makes sense. There were so many issues with that. Like, they're expensive.
Yeah, mine's got it.
I mean
Mine's got
the PS3 was $600 at launch. Was like
Yeah.
seven. That's like a little over $700 today before like any tax for wherever you're at. That's
yeah, they were expensive.
whew,
I ended up converting over a couple years later, probably like 2010, 2011. I got one on Craigslist when Craigslist was hot at the time. And
I
that
miss
was because
Craig.
all my buddies were playing on that. And the biggest thing that converted me to that was when PlayStation was free to play online. I'm sure people, it's been
Yep.
that long, forgot about that. PlayStation used to be free to play online and you had to pay for 360. It's like, oh, it's better. And
Yep.
I remember being one of those guys because PlayStation got hacked at that time. Was it
Yes.
2011?
Yeah,
Yeah,
2011.
that was
Yeah.
a big thing. I remember all that.
Yeah, I graduated in 2012, so it was like it was super hot then. I remember exactly when PlayStation had gotten hacked. Crazy.
Yeah, that was a big thing. It took them a while to get back on their feet behind that too.
It did, yeah. We've got a good bit of comments. Brandy, do you want to hit any of
Yeah,
those,
we
or I can
have
go through here?
Millennial Collector Ohio. Yeah, I played the Wii in college in 2006. Great way to pass the time in the dorms. I agree. I had some of those systems when I went to college, and my room was like known as like the game room where everyone came, and I kind of had like my own blockbuster system, but I didn't make any money. People would come by, they would sign a little sheet, they would take the games and movies, they would play them at their dorm, and then they'd bring them back. I don't know why it just happened. And then oh, okay, we had Josh clarify. Typically, this is all from Google. Typically, the term retro is given to items which were at least 20 years old but not yet 40 years old. Again, using today's posting date, retro items would be those made between 1979 and 1998. That seems like a big gap.
That is a big gap because then we would be not using the term vintage for some of those. So
Yeah, also
Yeah.
found in antique malls like Fargo's, FARM, are items which are not necessarily old at all but still collectible. Huh. That's
interesting.
definitely
That's
interesting.
interesting.
I guess on that note too, about all of this whole retro and vintage and collecting, collectors and preservation, I'd say now that we're like changing and like shifting into this whole like retro thing, you think the majority will care about preserving games?
Um,
No,
Not
no.
outside of our age demographic. They can care less. You know,
Yeah.
they're more so digital. They just want to play it now.
Mhm.
But I feel like the digital thing is only gonna go for so far. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, they're gonna phase out physical releases, which may be the case, but it's a little different with games because I mean, even with music and videos, because if you think about it, I think more people are becoming more in tune with it because those things they disappear.
Mhm.
You know, with the e-shops closing and stuff like that. Once you do it, it's gone.
Mhm.
That's my biggest thing. I know that's a lot of collectors' biggest thing, other than just having it. But like, you know, that's a major thing. So I guess it's a matter of opinion, but also I feel like it's kind of our age demographic that's going to try to do our best to preserve it.
Yeah, and I think that's, that's key as well. And I definitely agree with that. I didn't even think to like kind of compare it to, like music and now you got all this like retro stuff coming back with like the vinyls and
Yep.
you have all of that stuff, coming back, and that is a great point because you essentially could just listen to everything like on Spotify or on your phone or different things online, but
See,
people do choose to have
It
physical.
sounds different on cassette and definitely on vinyl for sure.
Yeah.
It's a different feel to it. You know, some people they want that feel back and the record scratching or whatever. You know,
the analog sound. Yes, but see, the thing with that is that's still very much a niche market as a whole. I can't tell you anybody that's not specifically like a collector, like very passionate about music or any sort of media, even movies,
yeah,
that collects
hmm
physical. Like I can't name anybody. I don't know anyone that
yeah,
buys
that's right.
DVDs that like isn't in our scene, you know what I mean? So like it's still pretty niche, and I'm encapsulated in that. Like I love analog audio. I collected movies. I gave that up in favor of games, mostly for space sort of thing. So like I sold off all my movies, and like I don't even have time to stream movies. So like it wasn't even a thing. But like I'm still like a physical person as a whole, and I know all three of us are, but I still feel like that's like very much a niche market. And the vinyl thing, you know, they brought vinyl back, like it hit in like 2017 is when it started coming back, but now it's like at a downfall, so it's like kind of spiraling. People are not buying vinyl as much. People got super deep into it, especially the pandemic, as you guys know. Like every hobby shot up, everything. So now we're at like kind of a decrease on everything. Even video games are on a downfall from the pandemic. So it's like, I don't know, as a whole, if people care about preservation or physical. Like I want them to. You know, like my daughter could care less. She doesn't even, you know, trying to watch a DVD. I had to re-explain it to her the other day, and we've watched them, I don't know, countless times. She streams so much, like it's not even a thing. And it's such a niche market, you know, kids just don't care. It's all about convenience and being quick and what's the fastest way to get into what you're doing. So it's so hard to say, man. Like I just don't know.
Yeah, and that's what the comments are saying too. Like Carl's saying, "Oh, absolutely. I have so much music on vinyl that isn't on Spotify or any other streaming digital service. Yeah. For all intents and purposes, it is all gone." You know, so, and then we have Josh saying, "I usually buy DVDs occasionally, just not too often. Great for road trips for kids and myself. It's a family tradition to get at least one for Christmas." But we're, of course, you know, people in the comments and then us, we're all a part of that, like, whole, you know, niche community. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I also think, honestly, like, it seems like with everything, you go a couple years and it's a convenience thing until you realize you're like, oh, you know, everything just kind of revolves and goes in a continuous circle. It comes back. And then people, oh man, I remember this, and it's gone off the internet.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like they're just gonna constantly kind of like be like on a roller coaster. It'll come back, go up, go down. And it's gonna be constantly that, because I feel like, even, you know, there's a sense of, I think there's a difference between physical preservation as well as digital. You know, because you're gonna have to preserve digital, and everybody's not gonna keep everything digital too. So, you know.
Yeah.
Ways to look at that.
Complicated thing. Yeah.
I think as far as gaming, like to bring it just back to gaming, I think, you know, I think this is our last generation of physical for PlayStation and Xbox. Nintendo, I'm not so sure, because, like, you know, we're looking at like something next year, like a new console from them. And I don't think we're totally at that let's get rid of physical thing right now in 2023. For, you know, especially Nintendo. Like, I think Nintendo realizes, hey, they got a lot, you know, there was a survey that came out, and there's still 70% of Switch users are digital for their games. But 30% is still several millions and millions of dollars, right, for the Switch. So we're about to have it hit the highest selling video game system of all time. We're very, very close to that. So I think that whatever Switch successor is, I think that we'll have a physical option for that console. But I feel like for PlayStation 6 and whatever the heck Xbox 720 1000 is called, I think that we'll
like X2.
Oh yeah, X2, 720, 1080,
something like that.
4K, 8K,
XYZ.
XYZ, whatever that is. I definitely, because they obviously wanted to do that this generation, right? So they pushed the Series S, and then obviously they released the digital only console that was cheaper, and a lot of people were getting that. But actually, the digital only console is harder to find than the disc console. You see that more often, which is weird.
The PlayStation one for sure.
Yeah, the PlayStation is what I meant. Yeah,
I saw those pre-owned
everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah, actually got for his birthday because he asked for it. I'm like, yeah, this would be easy to get because they were everywhere. Like, they're down to $150, but I've heard like parents come in the GameStop while I'm in there, and they're like, they're trying to explain to them the difference between digital, and they're like, no, we want the one with this. We don't want to deal with that. But again, that's kind of like our parenting generation and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know. But I feel like the younger crowd, unless they do something with the like memory and the hard drives, the younger crowd will get agitated with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
it's just a matter of time.
And even the younger crowd, Josh is saying, tell the kids what happens when the internet goes down. Can't use them streaming services then. DVDs and physical come in handy then.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's saying Nintendo went from carts to CDs back to carts.
Yep.
And then even Mysticles is saying that's a good point. That's why he's physical forever. The carts might be safe for us, getting the whole game on the cart when you buy it. And then Carl's saying it'll be Xbox 720 no scope. So, we'll have to see what the name will be.
Yeah. I think for sure Sony and Microsoft is going probably full digital. Nintendo's probably like 10 years from now. Nintendo just,
I can see that.
They march to the beat of their own drum. And I honestly feel like Xbox is going to turn into a subscription-based console very soon. It's kind of there now, and I feel like I feel like they're aiming in that direction. It's because the PlayStation like outsells them by a lot. And you can't even really count Nintendo's competition because Nintendo has their own audience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
And
different.
it's something I spoke on. I feel like Microsoft they don't have the love of gaming in them because you can just tell from the lack of production. Sony still produces. They have their own individual games that only come out on the PlayStation, and Nintendo, of course, they have their IPs and stuff like that. But Xbox, they're subscription based, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's a matter of choice. The Game Pass is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess at that sense, you gotta make a choice, and I feel like that's where Xbox is going.
Yeah, so you never know. These are all, great little topics. So we'll definitely have to, see where the future kind of leads us at. But once again, we do appreciate, everyone who's been stopping by our chat. And we do appreciate our special guest tonight. So we'll just go ahead. If you have anything that you want to plug, where can people find you at? What do you go by? We'll do a final plug before we wrap up here.
Okay. Well, you can find me on all social and gaming platforms at Video Game Votary, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, of course, Facebook, Sony, Xbox, Nintendo, everything is Video Game Votary.
Especially if you guys want to see, some great content. So we'll make sure that we put all of his socials in our description as well. And, follow him on his journey of collecting through these like full sets and just really neat and like rare things that he finds too. And, kind of give some information about some of these like upcoming games. We appreciate all of that, and we appreciate everyone stopping by. So
absolutely,
thank you guys all again. Make sure you guys tune in, to our upcoming content and our next podcast. This was a great 30th episode here.
Yeah,
and
thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, make sure you guys support us on Patreon and check out our merch. So we appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, thank you.